Welcome back to Animals 2 by 2, where we take a week-long study on different animals. Today is day 1 of our week-long study on worms. Your lesson and objectives for this week is at the end of the week, you should be able to observe the structure and behavior of redworms, little earthworms. Observe the structure and behavior of the nightcrawler. Compare how redworms and nightcrawlers are alike and different. Communicate observations of the structures and behaviors of earthworms. Make observations of the natural world and know that they are descriptors collected using your 5 senses. I hope that you're raising questions about the natural world and use appropriate reference material that can support your understanding to obtain that information. Okay, so what you'll need for this week is just some pencils, crayons, or markers, pens if you would like, some paper to take notes and draw some pictures, and your books, Animals 2 by 2, which we'll be taking a look at today. Okay, just some vocabulary we'll go through during the week is burrow, redworm, segment, nightcrawlers, earthworms, and bristles. Okay, so this week our investigation is big and little worms. We're going to be exploring those big and little worms, and in this investigation, we're going to look at specifically 2 types of worms, their structures and as well as their behaviors. While you're watching, I want you to draw and write the important information that you learned down so you can reference it back later in the week as we go along with our lessons. Okay, so if you would, go ahead and get your Animals 2 by 2 book out. If you need to go look for it, please pause the video and then push play when you're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to look at page 3, learning about animals. Animals come in many sizes. Animals live in many places. You can learn about animals by looking at them closely. Go ahead and turn throughout the book and you're going to go to page 12. You'll find the number 12 for the page number on the bottom left-hand corner. You should see the title of this section as Big and Little Worms. Where do you find worms? These worms live in the soil. They get water and food from the soil. Take a look at the picture above the words and you can see a worm digging into the soil. 13. Remember that page number is located at the bottom right-hand corner. Grown-up earthworms have a phloem. Do you see it? What else do you see? I want you to observe, look at that picture, see the different lines and the texture of that worm. You're going to be learning about that throughout this week. Over to page 14. These worms have segments. Wow, look at the size of that worm on the upper left-hand corner. That's a rather large worm. The one on the right, it looks a little different. I can't wait to study these throughout the week. How about you? Turn over to page 15. How are these worms the same? How are they different? If you look at the upper left-hand corner, that one looks a little cylinder-like it's round, but the one on the right looks a little flat. Can you spot the likenesses and the difference? So worms vary a lot. You may have heard of roundworms, flatworms, tapeworms, earthworms, and who knows what other kinds of worms. None of them conjure up a particular warm or pleasant feeling in most people. Worms have a low reputation in human circles. They're often associated with some of the not so pleasant circumstances. But in these activities or lessons, it may turn all that around as you dig into the subject of earthworms. Earthworms are animals that live their lives almost entirely under the surface of the earth. Truly subterranean organisms. Every conceivable corner and back alley of the environment is home to some kind of life form. But these experiences with earthworms will expand your understanding of the ways animals can live and that there are different kinds of worms within the category of earthworms. While meeting earthworms, you will observe and describe new structures and behaviors. You may report lines around the worms, like it looks like the worm is made from little pieces stuck together. You'll also see the worms digging into the soil and moving through tunnels under the surface of the soil in observation of a terrarium. The underground tunnels are called burrows, and the process of digging is burrowing. And we'll talk more about that later in the week. So come back tomorrow for lesson 2, where we'll investigate the red worm. Thanks for tuning in.